Protect your DNA. BioPQQ can promote formation of new mitochondria. Infowarsstore.com.
That's a fantastic report there from John Baum. Now let's talk about something that's been labeled a conspiracy theory here lately. You guys recall that over the past couple of weeks, the $400 million bounty to Iran had been speculated on, and people in the media saying, oh, it's just a conspiracy theory by the right-wingers. They're making this up. They're trying to demonize Obama. And now the State Department blames the media for its own lies and deception over the $400 million Iran deal. In a remarkable exchange with the press corps, a State Department spokesman was berated and questioned for half an hour over blatantly obvious lies and deception concerning the Obama administration's $400 million payment to Iran.
Getting away from the word leverage, which in basic English, you're saying that you wouldn't give them the $400 million in cash until the prisoners were released, correct?
That's correct.
And I love how easy it is to convince so many people of what constitutes a, quote, conspiracy theory. Basically, when I talk to people and I ask them, what is a conspiracy theory, it's just something that hasn't been confirmed by their trusted source. Let's say, for example, if your trusted source is CNN. If CNN isn't reporting on something, but Infowars is, it's a conspiracy theory until CNN gets around to reporting the exact same information that we may have said years in advance. A similar thing when you deal with government types. When myself, Joe Biggs, David Knight, or whoever else, we go out to these press conferences and we talk to these police chiefs or these lieutenant colonels or whoever they may be, and we ask them a question that may be in conflict with their press release. I say, just read out the press release. And we say, no, sir, your press release is in direct contradiction with what your actions are saying. Your motivations aren't in line with your actions. And if you do this in a public setting in 2016, they call you a conspiracy theorist. Had that, those same press conferences happened back in the 1960s or 70s, we'd be given awards for award-winning investigative journalists. That's just how the mentality is, and it's the great propaganda machine where you just keep people so docile, so afraid to be labeled something that they won't even ask you a question, and you eventually have to get the people to admit it themselves, which they usually do in some type of fashion. It may have been years later or whatever, but they eventually do come around to admitting it, and then it's a fact, even though somebody could break the story, potentially years in advance. Now, as we're talking about the press, let's talk about media not talking to Hillary Clinton, or Hillary Clinton not talking to the media more accurately, because we know Mrs. Clinton has gone well over 200 days without directly having a press conference. Now, she may have, little puff pieces. We can come up here and ask her a simple question, or you can take a picture of her, hugging kids and kissing babies and all that kind of stuff. But recently, she had an event where she invited the media to come and film her talking to police officers, but not the police officers responding to her.
Yeah, well, but they can sit down. Yeah, bring your chair. Can we get, Jake, can we get more chairs so that, everybody who's here feels like they can be part of it? So with that, I'm going to let the press have a chance to depart, and then we can begin our conversation. So you 2 days off, huh?
2 days. And that's the beauty of it. So she can sit up there, she can give her speech, she can say whatever she wants to say, but let's say if, for one example, somebody in that press conference with her on that panel had a opinion that differed with hers. Well, we're not really going to find out about that now. Just like when she had all these big meetings and press conferences or these speeches to Goldman Sachs and these other big banks, and people saying, well, why don't you release the transcript? Well, we don't need to talk about what I said to all these big banksters who's giving me money all the time. And as we're still on this Clinton train, let's talk about her use of the personal email server. Now, as I always say about Mrs. Clinton, in the grand scheme of things, I think Benghazi is a much larger issue than the email scandal, but we have seen the head of the FBI come out and say that Mrs. Clinton did put national security at risk when she used these private email servers. And I love this mentality that people have. Well, she did it, so it's okay if somebody else did it, or somebody else did it before her, so it's okay that she did it. I'm not saying it's good when Colin Powell did it. I'm not saying it's good when Mrs. Clinton did it. I think they're all accountable in their own way, and everybody should be held accountable for their actions. But now we have reports saying that Clinton told the FBI that Colin Powell advised her to use a personal email server. And this is the Democratic presidential nominee, Hillary Clinton, told federal investigators that Colin Powell, a former Secretary of State, advised her to use a personal email account, according to the New York Times. And they did say that Colin Powell said, except in cases of classified communications. Now, as I was saying, it's not good when Powell does it. It's not good when Hillary does it. But that's what everybody uses the excuse for. I'm gonna make up this excuse for Hillary because people have done it before her. She's supposed to be different. Same thing with Obama. He's supposed to bring the hope and the change. He's supposed to end these foreign conflicts, still have foreign conflicts. He's supposed to shut down Guantanamo Bay, still have Guantanamo Bay. He's supposed to stop arming all these terrorists and these criminals, still arming the terrorists and the criminals, and then sending our guys out there to go and fight. Do you understand what I'm the point I'm making here? If your guy is supposed to be different, they're not supposed to do the same things that the other guys have been doing for years and years and years.
In the past decade, we have witnessed unparalleled scientific discoveries in the area of health. But no one has put together a formula that focuses directly on brain health, nerve growth factors, and optimizing your cellular energy at the same time. DNA Force is one of the most expensive formulas to produce. Some of the ingredients in DNA Force are $12,000 a kilogram. We are using the coveted, patented, only American source of PQQ, CoQ10, and more. You want the best that's out there at the lowest price anywhere? Well, we're bringing you a total win-win. The ultimate value, cutting-edge, trailblazing game changer that also supports the InfoWar. We have produced a limited run of DNA Force, and it will take up to 12 weeks to produce more once we sell out. Secure your DNA Force today at InfoWarsLife.com or call toll-free 888-253-3139.